Dobre den. Ladies and gentlemen, members and guests of the different academies, and especially I have to greet our protector, Professor Gasparovich, and I'm very pleased finding him in such an energetic, fresh condition, which is very good for him. But I have to thank you, Professor Kasche, for the initiative organizing this meeting. This meeting is in the chain of different meetings of the European Academy of Science and Arts. We have been in London, we have been in Warsaw, in your academy we have been, where Kleiber was the president at this time. We have been on many, many places in Italy and so on. And we had last month a larger meeting in Salzburg too, and in some weeks we will have a meeting in Berlin. But ladies and gentlemen, what is specific? It's, we entitle our task as Next Europe. Why Next Europe? There are so many ideas and so on, but all we have to confess that Europe is today in a fundamental crisis. And the whole idea was coming after the election to the European Parliament, and it was, in my perception, a scandal. In Austria, only 42% went to the election. Then the expressions, the ideas of all the politicians who wanted to be elected in the parliament, there was really nothing substantial. And I think this is not the way to go. But anyway, we all believe in Europe. And to reach Europe, there are so many streets, but sometimes you have also dead ways. When I was entitling my message today, Next Europe, the role of the Danube academies. We always take some specific. In Berlin, we will have the governance. We will have in Rome then on the first leadership and then governing Rome. Can I have the first slide, please? Maybe it's on the way last, eh? That's the problem with the upcoming technology. But I'm also a little bit fault with this because I detected on the way from Salzburg that I have no stick with me. And I was immediately calling my office, and the office was calling Professor Luby. And he assured me yesterday it is 4 times here. Oh, now we have it. Finally, we get really the technology what we need. You see, my title is the role of the Danube academies. I have taken this title because the academies can play in the Danube area a big role. Next. You see a short graph from the Danube. It's a large river, and we are convening since, okay, thank you, since 2010. We are convening the meetings. We started in Austria, it's clear, in Vienna, and we went to Slovakia. We have been hosted by Professor Luby here, also in Smolenice. Then we had different points. Next. Now I think we're a little bit. No, yeah. Then we went to Romania, Hungary, and so on, and to Slovenia too. And next year we are going to Serbia. But the idea of the Danube Academies Conference have been developed by Mr. Hahn, the commissioner, and he was saying the strategy for the Danube has an ambitious goal to make the Danube a 21st century region. And therefore, I'm so grateful to you, Professor Kassai, that you are also focused in this. And the second idea has been to have the Danube Academies conferences as a counterweight to the Danube Rectors Conference, which are doing very well. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to go back a little bit to history. Europe is always a great dream, and still it's a dream. It's only sometimes not very good interpreted, especially by the media. But it was Victor Hugo was in the modern times. Coudenhove Kalergi was a great visionary from the 20th centuries, and the Roman threats, and especially Lisbon. But ladies and gentlemen, a problem we have in Europe. It's very easily said to let's make a united Europe, as an example from the United States of America. But in reality, ladies and gentlemen, you see, Europe is pressed between, from the West, from the United States, with all the commerce and with the finances. And from the east side, we have a big tension too with energy and other things, which gives us quite a lot of problems. And what I'm saying, when does Europe going to be emancipated, that we are going really to stand on our own feet? It's easily said, but you see it sometimes that it's not so easy. And today we have also other problems. In the north, you have now a movement for a northern union, starting with Iceland, England after the Brexit, the Danish, the whole Scandinavian area, together with Estonia and with Hamburg, to have a northern pact. Then you have the southern pact. Then you have the Visegrad Pact. It's all interests areas where it's very difficult to come up with a common idea. And in the middle we have Austria, Germany, more or less left alone. That, for our tasks, it has been the reason that we asked our 1,900 members and the 2,300 friends, we asked them what they have in mind with Next Europe. And you see here's a list. And Professor Kasche, up tomorrow, I have also to write Smolenice. That Smolenice was also a site of Next Europe. But let's come to the survey. What was more or less expressed by the people. The first point has been that we have in Europe no, I repeat it, no acceptable leadership. When you are looking on the council, the last council last week, I think, there was not coming a result, nothing coming together. Then the European Parliament, it's also claimed they have less legitimation, but the lessest legitimation has the European Central Bank. And that the commissions are without control. As far as we are standing on a scientific ground, with, I'm grateful that the Slovak Academy is also a partner of us. on the program like Erasmus and so on, there was no criticism. But this is the main criticism. The security, all we know it inside, outside. The migration, only to make it a little bit plastic. In my small town in Salzburg, we had last year 600,000 refugees. And the whole town is only 150 people. And so you can imagine which tension, which problems it caused. And with the finances, we all know it with the euro, what's going on, and with the constant bank crisis. And this is not anymore tolerable or not taken by the people outside. But when I take the role, what we can really do, I'm always saying we have to make a narrative. We have to speak to each other. And when many people are speaking together, then you find a line. Therefore, it's standing public visions. Public visions that we are starting, like Coudenhove, Kalergi, like Victor Hugo, that we are starting to get new ideas. And also, I have shown you on one slide the problem of Europe with the West pressure, with the East pressure. We have to overcome those deficits from World War II. And it's now 70 years, but the tensions really exist. We have to be active and always sometimes ask, what can we do? Like you, Stefan Kassai, we can do something. We can bring people together. We can go in a garden of our ideas and to take new visions. And also it's necessary, ladies and gentlemen, that we have a better harmonization between East Europe and West Europe. And I see here today a gap which has to be overcome. And the gap is quite deep, and therefore we have to work to overcome this. And I'm a little bit disappointed that 25 years after the fall of the Berlin Wall, the gap still exists. No, next. Okay, what can we do? The first, we can all speak together. We need a real European leadership. In Europe, they have, in Brussels, they have so many offices. We have not to create new office, but to get a new direction all from the offices. And we, or let's say the politicians, have to get idea how to gain a real leadership. It's not possible that one country is saying this in the council, the other country is saying this, and they are opposed by others. This is not the way to go. This is the way to the hell, but not more. The second is with the security. We think that it's so important to defend our outside borders. And maybe Mr. Trump will help us that Europe gets a little bit conscious to do something for their own security, because he said he is not anymore willing to put so much money from the US into the NATO. The Europeans should make themselves those things. And maybe this is a very good chance to have then a European really security done. The control immigration is absolutely necessary, and the new balance between East and West. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in our academy a very good painter, famous painter in Germany. It's Mr. Anselm Kiefer. And Anselm Kiefer was giving us a print out of his work. It's called Sternenfall, the fall of the stars. And what can we do as Europeans? And I told you, we are in the search of the narrative. It's very dangerous to lie on the earth and wait until the stars are coming down. What we can do together is to fix the stars so that we have a European sky over us. Next. Okay. What can we really do? It's quite simple. We have to believe in Europe. It sounds very, very simple. But I think that's the only way to overcome faith. I'm speaking a little bit in the voice of a doctor. Many do not know here in the room that I'm a cardiac surgeon. And when I was speaking to this, I'm now retired. When I was speaking to the patient the evening before, I always was saying, you must have a trust. You have to believe in this. And when you have a belief, then you can overcome all your fear, which is waiting for you. And I think it's the most thing. And when you have a belief, then you are such energetic that you can overcome small details and so on. And the next is, I think, coming down a little bit, the Danube area is for me a fantastic future area in Europe. And I know that I'm now going to make a mistake, but I think it's the whole Danube area is much stronger as all the Visegrad threats and so on, because here you have a big axis in Europe which are giving you a stabilization. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to me. And dear Stefan Kasser, I have to congratulate. I'm very grateful that you are making this meeting. And you will see, day after tomorrow, you are listed in our official list. And I was asked that I will declare in the language, in the official language of our academy, plenum apertum.